Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Mikasa here at 23 Woodcrest and Malcolm Down and still in Ottawa, the Woodcrest Canada connection today.
Yeah.
You like that? This is the final installment of the NFL Game Pick segment here on Pure Finesse with the head honchos here, proudly a part of the Pure Finesse Sports podcast family. Malcolm, how was your week last week with the game picks, bud? Did you try to close down the lead?
I think it might have stayed a bit the same. I can't remember if I was more than 5 games back or something. But last week went 10-6. Closed the gap down, I think, to 4 games now. So this week, I have a few games that may shock the world, but I need to do it just to get this lead, just at least to tie it or take the win in the last week.
Right. Got to have close to a perfect week this week to get 100 games over 500 for the season. So 4 months down with the last one to go. Let's get right into it. And it's all division matchups for week 17, which is just makes it the creme de la creme. So game number one of the biggest ones of the week. Miami Dolphins going into the snow-filled Buffalo Stadium to play the Bills today. Buffalo playing for the second seed in the AFC, and Miami is trying to stay on to their playoff hopes. Winning, they're in for Miami, and their closer, the Mariano Rivera of the NFL this year, Ryan Fitzpatrick, is not playing today due to a positive COVID test. So who takes this AFC East tilt?
Well, the Buffalo Bills are 12-3 this year, and their 3 games that they've lost have all been rescheduled games. So on those games that have not been rescheduled and they've played on the days that they're supposed to be played, they've won those games, and they've shown that they're really good because they're 12-3. This game's not rescheduled. Buffalo is Josh Allen is just playing phenomenal. He should be getting some MVP consideration, in my opinion, for the way he's brought this Buffalo team to potentially number 2 seed in the AFC. So I have Buffalo over Miami.
So do I, because I think Buffalo is really one of the only teams to not have any key players sitting today.
Yeah.
Because a lot of good teams right now are not playing some key players, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute. But yes, the Buffalo Bills, they absolutely dominated Miami in the fall, and they're going to do the same thing in 2021. Next game of the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens are going into to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore just slightly favored by 13.5 points. Subtle. Baltimore, again, winning, they're in. Trying to play, if they win and Miami loses, they get the first wild card seed and they set up a matchup against the AFC South Division winner. So do you see any chance of an upset?
There's potential for an upset because Cincinnati's won their last 2 games against Pittsburgh and Houston. Houston obviously not as strong as Baltimore or Pittsburgh, but still Cincinnati's proven that they could pull out some of these wins. But the last time they played Baltimore, they had Joe Burrow in, and that game was just easily won by the Baltimore Ravens, and they have no Joe Burrow. I think they're supposed to be the top in the AFC North, and they're fighting for the number 3 spot. So, well, they're going to get the number 3 spot, so I think they want to destroy Cincinnati and make the playoffs, so I pick Baltimore this time.
Yeah, I think so too. Just think Cincinnati, I think it's really just tough to wake up on a cold January morning when you're 3-10-1, 4-10-1, whatever the record may be.
Yeah.
It's just bad. Just spoiler alert. So I think Baltimore's got a little bit more juice in their tank for this game today. Again, another big game. Jacksonville is going in to play the Indianapolis Colts. Indy, they need some help today. They don't control their own destiny. They need to win a Browns loss, a Ravens loss, or a Dolphins loss to be able to get in, or a Titans loss. So they need to win, and they need one of these 4 teams to lose. And they are favored by 14 points, so they should take care of business, right?
I think so, and I don't think Jacksonville, you even saw their fans last week, they're cheering for when the Bears were scoring because they want that number 1 overall pick.
They clinched it now.
Yeah, they clinched it, so I don't think they have anything else to play for. Maybe the players will play for pride, but I think Indianapolis is going to want this game more because they have a lot on the plate here.
Well, Malcolm, you know what Jacksonville's record is?
What's their record?
1-14.
Yep.
Do you know who that one win was against?
Who was it?
The Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
In week 1. You know what that means? Indy wins. Nah.
I was gonna say you're picking the upset.
Absolutely not. Indianapolis has to they're fighting for their season, so they got to come out with a bit more juice.
And especially after last
Jacksonville, and like you say, especially after last week with how they performed after blowing a huge lead against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
AFC North tilt, the Minnesota Vikings against the Detroit Lions. Minnesota getting eliminated last week. I had the hand to the 6 touchdown machine, Alvin
Should
Kamara.
have been 7.
Yep, it should have been, but Taysom Hill steals the spotlight from time to time. Minnesota favored by 4.5 points. No Dalvin Cook for Minnesota.
No Dalvin Cook. Oh, I didn't. Oh, yes, because of the passing of his father previously, he has to be with him, obviously, during this time. I didn't know that. So initially, I had Minnesota because of Dalvin Cook and the way he runs the ball. But this was the game that I was going back and forth on because I'm like, I think Detroit, they could pull out this win. So I had Minnesota first, but with no Dalvin Cook, I think Detroit's going to win this
He
game.
flips his pick.
Flips the pick.
I'm not. I'm sticking with Minnesota. The rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, should be Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Him and Justin Herbert making really good cases to be it. And I think I've kind of mastered the gritty. Justin Jefferson, showing off after every touchdown. If you know the gritty, right?
The gritty, the dance, yeah.
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 So I'm trying my luck here real quick.
Oh, we're gonna see it too. Oh no. Oh, you get a little tour of the house too.
Pretty good.
That was pretty good. Not gonna lie, that was pretty good.
It took me all year to figure that one out. If ask anybody, it's pretty hard. So yeah, I'm sticking with my boy Justin Jefferson with the gritty, and Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. The New York Jets are somehow having back-to-back wins, and they're going up against the New England Patriots. New England is favored by 3. I think it should be flipped with the spread because New England's he got absolutely walloped by the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football.
Well, that was not fun.
So do the New York Jets get 3 straight wins?
Yes, sir. I think the Jets pull out this one too. Like you said, New England is not showing that they can really do anything with benching Cam Newton for whatever time again this season. It's happened almost every second week. You're benching Cam Newton. You're putting Jared Stidham in. Nothing's working in New England. New York Jets have kind of found their groove in these last couple of weeks. So I think they're going to win over New England because it's been a while, I feel like, since the Jets have had a win over New England.
Yeah, I would absolutely. Yeah. And they're locked in for the number 2 overall pick. So, I mean, they can't get any worse, if that makes sense, if you're winning.
Exactly. Yeah.
But ever since they fired Greg Williams, their defensive coordinator, after that abysmal call with on the Hail Mary play against Las Vegas, they won every game.
And no more Adam Gase after week 17. So they're going to part ways with him.
Long overdue.
So he's going to have his last game coaching. You think he wants to go with a bang over New England?
Exactly,
so.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe I think this might be the first time you'll see a 3-13 Gatorade shower of a coach if they win.
Yeah, probably.
NFC East is one of the still divisions left to be decided. The Dallas Cowboys are going into the Meadowlands to play the New York Football Giants. Dallas, after their win last week, are favored by 1.5 points over the boys in blue. So if whoever wins this game has got the shot at the division if the football team doesn't take care of business against the Eagles. Who wins?
I say the Giants win this one. And the Giants have shown, I think this is the team that's the least sucky in this division. They've proven
here first.
Yeah,
New York Giants, the least sucky team
in the NFC East. I think they've proven that they can win some big games. They've won against Seattle. Obviously, some of these, like the other team, the football team, has won a few big games too. But I think the Giants have just a more complete team right now over any other team in the NFC East. So I'm going to pick the Giants over Dallas.
I'm sticking with you too, right? I'm going to go with the New York Football Giants. Their defense, I'm sure James Bradbury is going to be in today. I haven't heard anything that he's not.
Yep.
And the last couple of games, the last week was a bit rough for New York, but Cleveland, again, they lost to Cleveland too, but they stuffed that running offense that Cleveland's known for, and Big D with Tony Pollard emerging right now, and Ezekiel Elliott, a good 1-2 combo there. If they could do the same thing like they did to Cleveland, I think it's going to be a tough time for Big D to score some points. Atlanta is going into Florida to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay favored by 6.5. They're pretty much locked into that first wild card spot. Do they have anything to play for today?
I don't think anytime Tom Brady and Matt Ryan play against each other, I think there's a little bit of bad blood because you even saw this 2 weeks ago. Matt Ryan choking that lead again and again. I think Tampa Bay, I don't see why Tampa Bay would sit any of their players. I think they're locked into that spot, so maybe they would, but I think Tampa Bay is going to play most of their starters, and I think they'll win this game over Atlanta today.
Yeah, just Tom Brady owns Matt Ryan, so I will be going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
The biggest game, arguably, and the 1 o'clock slates today, your Pittsburgh Steelers going in to Northeast Ohio, just on the coast of Lake Erie, to play the Cleveland Browns. A lot of players are sitting for your Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of players on both sides out for COVID reasons.
Yeah.
Cleveland favored by 10 points.
10.
Win and you're in for the Cleveland Browns to break the longest playoff drought in the NFL currently at 19 years if we're counting 2021. And that last time they made the playoffs, we were just in diapers in 2002. So, Malcolm, I know who you're picking, but I want to hear why.
Well, obviously, like this has been tough for me because I know how many people are sitting out on both sides. Cleveland's putting in Myles Garrett. He's going to be the captain for them.
Which I think is the biggest power move of the NFL season today. Taking Myles Garrett the captain when you see Miles Rudolph is under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers are without Joe Hayden and Eric Ebron due to COVID, and they might be out for next week too for the wildcard games.
It's not if they will.
We're not sure yet.
It's not if. They are.
They're unsure.
If you catch COVID, you have to sit out 10 days.
What about Lamar Jackson?
He was out for 10 days.
Okay, so Joe Hayden.
It was Sunday through Wednesday.
Joe Hayden caught it like a few days ago. No.
Well, I found out yesterday that he caught COVID.
No, it was like a couple days ago.
Oh, I'm sure. Right. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Pittsburgh media. No Ben Roethlisberger. Is Jarvis Landry playing? Is he still?
All four receivers are playing.
Okay, so they're back playing. I still think Pittsburgh's going to win. Obviously, why would I ever pick the Cleveland Browns to win against the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's just a joke. I think if you are picking Cleveland to win, you may need to go see a doctor because they're not making the playoffs. They're known for losing, and history tends to repeat itself, Jay. So Cleveland won't be making the playoffs. They won't win this game, and Pittsburgh will win. Upset of the week alert right here. What's your opinion?
Who shit your cereal this morning?
Nobody.
If I could tell you all the starters who are missing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you still think they're beating the Browns. T.J. Watt,
I'm aware of how many people are sitting out.
Joe Hayden, like you said, Eric Ebron,
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben, who has the best record all time against the Cleveland Browns, only losing twice. I'll have you know I was there for both of them. How are you? Cleveland's just going to Cleveland got the wrong end of the stick last week with the four receivers being out, which I think is an absolute joke, but that's another conversation. So they're back and healthy for the most part. They're not having Denzel Ward because of COVID reasons. Harrison Bryant, the rookie tight end, is not playing either. And B.J. Goodson, I want to say, the linebacker, is not out as well with COVID. So both teams are getting hit pretty bad by COVID. So hopefully they can get all back and healthy for a good playoff matchup. Because you know what? It's looking like it's going to be Pittsburgh-Cleveland in the playoffs.
And I know. I want that to happen. That'd be cool. But Cleveland loses today, they won't be able to make it. So they got to win.
Unless Indy loses, but, you need a miracle for that to happen.
Yeah.
We go to the 4 o'clock slate games. The New Orleans Saints are going to go playing in Carolina against the Panthers. New Orleans favored by 6. No running backs on the roster for New Orleans Saints. So stepping up from the practice squad is going to be a running back today. I think maybe you say dose of Taysom Hill at running back for the Saints.
I was just going to say that. Why not put Taysom Hill in at running back, get Jameis Winston throwing a few balls in there? Why not? Without all their running backs, I think New Orleans will be able to pull out this win. Carolina, they're a good team. They're a decent team, but New Orleans is just really good on defense. Really good on offense without Kamara. So I think New Orleans will pull this one out.
Yeah, New Orleans needs this win because they need to get the number 1 seed so they can get Alvin Kamara healthy and safe for playoffs because they need that bye. Because Kamara tested positive for COVID yesterday, so he will be ineligible to play next weekend's playoff game if they so happen to be the number 2 seed. The Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. Winning their in for the Chicago Bears against Green Bay today at 8-7. I would like to say the record is. So you might see an 8-8 team make the playoffs, whether you see an AFC team with a 10-6 record miss the playoffs. It's all thanks to that NFC East. That's what it chalks down to. And Green Bay favored by 4.5 points. What do you got, bud?
Yeah, this is one of the games of the week to watch. If you looked at our website, this is one of the games, probably the first game we had up there. Because Green Bay is looking for that number 1 spot, just like New Orleans is, and Chicago needs to get in. They win, they're in. But Green Bay wins, they clinch number 1, and they get that bye. And I think Aaron Rodgers has been on a tear with Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones and Robert Tonyan, Jaire Alexander on the other side. They've been playing too good of football. Like I thought the game against Tennessee was could be way closer than it was, but it wasn't. Aaron Rodgers should be getting MVP this year. I think Green Bay will win this one against the Rams.
I totally agree with you on the MVP conversation. Aaron Rodgers should be getting that lovely trophy for the third time in his career. But yes, I'll be sticking with the Green Bay Packers. You know, they know how to win in January temperatures, unlike Chicago with the double doinks, you know, whatever. Sure like to bring that up every time. Tennessee will be going up to play the Houston Texans. Tennessee favored by 7. If they win, they get the division. So do they get it?
Yeah, I think they get. Derrick Henry's gonna do some Derrick Henry-like things against this defense. Houston's just, I thought they'd be way better this season. 4-10, right, or 4-11 or something right now. Just something ridiculous.
JJ Watt sound off against after they lost last week.
Yeah, so I don't think Houston's gonna be able to pull up this upset, and I think Tennessee will win this division.
I think so too. I just think it's pretty tough to bet against Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill had a decent game against Green Bay in the frigid temperatures there at Lambeau. So I will be going with the Tennessee Titans. This is an absolute shocker to me. The LA Chargers are favored against the Kansas City Chiefs by 4.5 points.
You
I
kidding?
guess somehow my mind got into the NFL's the betters down at Caesars. You know, they're going with the Chargers here. But a bunch of players sitting for Kansas City. No Edwards-Helaire, no Ty Hill. Don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing. I don't think he is playing, Patrick Mahomes. So a whole bunch of second stringers are in for Kansas City. Justin Herbert last week broke the rookie touchdown record held by yours truly, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
LA back-to-back wins. They're trying to salvage something to build off of for this season. So do you go with the spread?
Well, I don't. I think you'd be going for LA Chargers, and this is one of the games where I have to differentiate from your picks because I need to catch up here. So I'm going to go with Kansas City despite having their second string team playing. I think I don't like betting against Justin Herbert after what he's done these past few games, but this is just a matter of me trying to beat you, and I want to pick Kansas City for this game.
Yeah, I think it's only fitting that I go with the LA Chargers this week. I've been going with them all year. You know, they're they've been proving me right these last couple of games, and they have a good chance this week because Kansas City is really nothing to play for. They're locked into that number 1 seed. They're not going anywhere, so they can get everyone back and healthy. LA just trying to look nice on TV. You know, get some more fans. So LA will be winning this one. Both teams that are out of the playoff picture in the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders going to play the Denver Broncos. Vegas favored by 2.5 points. Damn shame last Saturday against Miami. You know, had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And then Fitzmagic throwing that unbelievable pass with the face mask turning around his head like this and getting out of bounds and the 15-yard penalty added on. So they should have won that game, but it didn't. Ended their playoff hopes.
Yeah.
Favored by 2.5 over Denver. Do you stick with the favorites?
I do not. I go against the favorite again. I think Denver is going to win this one. They've had a rocky road this season, obviously, but both teams, nothing to play for really, just some pride. I think Denver is going to want to come out and show that, hey, we can still win and wait for next season. Because remember at the beginning of the year, a lot of people saying, oh, Drew Lock might make a case for MVP. There's quite a few people saying that, and that blew my mind. Obviously, that's not the case this year, but maybe next year. But still today, I think Denver will pull this one out.
I'll stick with the Raiders to keep things interesting in the game picks. Arizona going into the SoFi Stadium against the LA Rams. Arizona, they need to win in the Chicago loss to get into the playoffs. And LA will be without Jared Goff. And I think they still have a shot. I think they still have a shot at the division if they win and Seattle loses. So Arizona's got a bit more to play for than the Rams. So who do you have winning this one?
Well, like you said, Jared Goff not playing, that may be a blessing in disguise for these Rams because he's been so inconsistent this year. But the guy coming in is Blake Wood.
Bortles?
Not Blake Bortles. Is it? I thought it was like Wood something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's Blake Bortles. Like Blake Woodson or something like that. I've never heard of him before, but he's going to be coming in. I don't know how good he is. Arizona, I thought Kyler Murray wasn't playing this week, but I guess he is playing now. He's projected to be starting. So Arizona, like you said, they need this win. The Rams really don't need this win. So I think Arizona will win this game.
Yeah, I think so too. Arizona, I think I don't want to call them overrated, but I think that their record shows what they are. Like they're 8-7.
Yeah.
And they've been really inconsistent. They've had some really nice wins and they had some really bad losses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the game to prove everyone that they are a playoff team. And It's gonna be a tough playoff game to see Arizona. They're probably gonna go up against the New Orleans Saints, which
Yeah.
is gonna be one heck of a shootout. So that's gonna be a great thing to watch next week. Seattle going into I guess Arizona to play San Francisco. Seattle favored by 7. They've already clinched. San Francisco, they're out. Just playing for that division is Seattle. So they clinch the division today?
Yeah, so they're what, like 11-4, and so are the Saints, and then Green Bay is 12-3. So with Green Bay and New Orleans losing, they could move up to 2 and potentially number 1 spot, but I don't see that happening. But I do think that they'll win today and they'll stay where they are at number 3 seed. San Francisco, obviously just injury ridden all year long and COVID ridden. It sucks to see because they're supposed to be a great team this year, and that just sucks that happened to them. But Seattle, they've been fairly strong, so I think they'll pull this one out.
Yeah, I think so as well. Seattle, I think, is just too overpowering for San Francisco. Hot take of the day, because I think if Sam Darnold plays well for New York, I don't think they draft quarterback in the
Yeah,
draft.
same.
And I do think you're going to see the hero of the Sugar Bowl, Justin Fields, being drafted to the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll get more into that
Hot
after the
take.
last game of the week here. The Washington football team on Sunday night going into Philly to play the Eagles after Philly just getting eliminated last week. Washington favored by 3.5. If they win, they take, I would like to say, the crown, or it should be the toilet bowl of the NFC East. Do you smell upset?
I smell upset. I think so. My division winner, who I think is going to win, is the New York Giants. So I think they have to win today, obviously against the Dallas Cowboys, and then Philadelphia will win today against the Washington football team. Jalen Hurts has been playing really good football, and all of his starts so far. Obviously, heartbreaking loss last week, but still this week there's no Dwayne Haskins, so Alex Smith is back because Dwayne Haskins has been cut for being a party animal and just playing like garbage. So like you said, you keep saying this, their front seven is really good. So I think it'll be one of the first real tests for Jalen Hurts because this is a good front seven that can really pressure the quarterback. So he's going to have to find a way to scramble and get balls out quickly. But I think he'll pull this one out and win against the football team.
I would be going with the football teams.
I thought
The
so.
Eagles' offensive line is just, I would say, subpar at best. They've been having to mismatch a whole lot of combinations there because like injuries, COVID reasons. It's just been a mess in Philly. But they're keeping Doug Peterson for next year, so I mean,
Yeah.
maybe play for the coach because I think they're locked in as the 10th overall pick.
Okay, not bad.
This is an unbelievable stat of the day. So if Dallas loses, they have a chance at the 5th overall pick.
Okay.
And if they win, they have a shot at the division.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, it's
Like,
unbelievable.
I hate to see that, honestly.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But that does it for game picks for the year. Malcolm, it's been a pleasure. We're looking for 100 games over 500 for this week. That'd be a pretty nice stat to have on your resume. Not a big deal. This week, me and Malcolm are going to be bringing to you the national championship preview show for the NCAA football, college football playoff. Probably the best trophy in all of sports, the nicest looking trophy. Besides this glorious sight over here, the White Claw Cup. It'll be the Ohio State Buckeyes to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to break it down for you next week with a bunch of analysis. Malcolm's still a bit cheesed that his favorite team, Clemson Tigers, lost, but we'll get more into that next week. So until then, it's Jacob
and Colm.